Washington mornings on the Mall.
105.9 FM.
And AM 630.
WMAL.
8:07 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. It's Brian Wilson, Larry O'Connor. One more hour where we're going to open up the phone lines and let you talk. And let me just say to you that as soon as we get through with this next little quick interview, we're going to recap everything that happened. So if you are waking up and you're not quite sure how everything played out, bear with us for just a moment or two longer, and then we're going to recap everything so you'll know exactly what happened in Virginia, Maryland, and nationwide with this election. But, you know, I think it's safe to say that we can now agree that to win the presidency, you have to win Ohio. I mean, there's no way around it. You've got to figure out a way to win Ohio.
Come hell or high water.
Ken Blackwell is former Secretary of State and a man who knows a lot about how that state operates. He's also been playing on the national arena as well, and he joins us now on the line. Mr. Blackwell, thanks for joining us. Good to have you. What is the secret, do you think, to winning the state of Ohio, and why have Republicans had such a difficult time figuring out the formula?
Well, I mean, George Bush won Ohio 2 times. Ronald Reagan won Ohio twice. I mean, here's the reality, is that Ohio is a very diverse state. It has a strong manufacturing base, a strong agribusiness and farming base. It has big cities, 8 major media markets, and then it has a bunch of rural communities that vote big. It's like Indiana on the west side, and it's more like Atlanta in the southwest. Cincinnati is more like Atlanta than it is like Cleveland. Cleveland is more like Philadelphia than it is like Columbus. So you have to understand the demographic diversity and makeup of the state. But look, this is what happened in Ohio yesterday. Romney underperformed with white working class families and voters.
And was that because of the auto bailout?
It was that he was defined early on through a very sophisticated and aggressive, targeted, well-focused messaging campaign to define him as a rich white guy who just didn't understand how average people live and what their troubles are.
Yeah, it was a vicious negative attack early on.
It was vicious, and so if he had performed in Ohio as he did nationally with white working class families and voters, he could have won Ohio. But because it was well focused, look, the Obama campaign didn't run a national campaign. They ran a targeted, focused campaign in 9 states, Ohio being the chief one among them, because they knew that there had not been historically a Republican to win the presidency without Ohio.
Yeah.
The other thing that they did, the other group that where I think conservatives underestimated was young people between the ages of 18 and 30. Republican strategists didn't think that they would come out as strong in terms of being a major part of the electorate in Ohio, and they thought they wouldn't come out with the intensity of 2008.
But they did.
They got that wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
Ken Blackwell.
And that was driven really by young single women.
Ken, it's no secret that Buckeyes don't know anything about college football, but clearly you have some sort of upper hand when it comes to electoral politics here. So does this mean, if the GOP is smart, moving forward now, looking at 2016, does John Kasich position himself as a front runner for the nomination so that Ohio's in the bag? What about Rob Portman, who was on many people's short list for VP? What about you, Ken Blackwell? Are you ready to throw your hat in?
Well, this is going to be a debate to stay on this last election. The calculated decision that Romney made to choose Ryan over Rob Portman.
Yeah.
Would Portman have made a difference? I thought 2 months ago, that he would have made a difference. I think today that Portman would have made a difference in Ohio, and we didn't get any pickup in Wisconsin. So, I mean, that was a strategic decision. Romney, as he said last night, as he stood alone in the well, that was his decision. He was proud of the decision, and he wouldn't move away from it. We have to live with our strategic decisions. I don't think the person in 2016 is going to have to come from Ohio, but we're going to have to begin to understand how you win Ohio, and you win Ohio by being a full-service conservative, like Ronald Reagan, who basically could speak to social conservatives as well as economic conservatives, and
right.
he didn't dissect his base to the point of making it irrelevant.
Ken Blackwell, you've been called a transcendent political figure. You're an African-American Republican who articulates conservative principles in a very heartfelt way. You know, we had MSNBC speculating last night that as of today, the Republican Party now realizes that there aren't enough white men in America to elect a Republican president. Demographically, what do you see on the horizon for this party and for the prospects moving forward?
Well, you have to place the order, and we have to aggressively go after the Hispanic vote. I think along a wide range of issues, we can take a conservative message. We don't have to water down our message, but we have to place the order.
Right.
That is a growing demographic group. It was a group that made a difference in Virginia. It was a group that made a difference in Colorado. But we have to understand that we have 50 state elections on a national election day. So we have to begin to look at some micro-targeting, some specific principled ways of embracing growing demographic groups. And it's just that it's just that simple. We don't have to alter our message. And let me just give you one.
Very quickly, because we're out of time.
And that is, this is a pro-life country. We don't have to run away from the pro-life ethic. We have to understand how we communicate it more effectively.
Ken Blackwell, former Secretary of State, and a man who knows the state of Ohio very well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good to be with you guys.
Watch out for my Wolverines now, Ken. They're coming for you.
All right, leave it there.
Ohio.